Hello and welcome to the first in a series of videos we've been producing as part of an introduction to the PhUSE Annual Conference 2017 University Day. We wanted to produce these videos to give you an introduction to what PhUSE is all about, and also what you can expect from the annual conference and particularly the University Day. My name's Abigail and I'm a final year genetics and immunology student at the University of Aberdeen, and I've just come back from finishing my industrial placement year down in Cambridge. During this year I got a real interest in data science, and that's what led me to become involved with PhUSE, and I'm now a member of the University Day organising committee. Now I'm back in Scotland now, but a few months ago I was still in Cambridge doing my placement, and James McDermott kindly came across to meet with me and chat to me about what PhUSE is all about, what the University Day is all about, and just give us an insight into what we can expect from attending the annual conference. So just to kick us off, James, can you tell me a bit about PhUSE?
Yeah, sure. So PhUSE, in 2003, I was a statistician in the pharmaceutical industry, and I was talking to a friend of mine, Stephen Bamford, who was a SAS programmer or programming manager at Pfizer in Kent, and we were talking about his experience with conferences, that statisticians and data managers, two of the job roles in the industry, had conferences to go to, but there only seemed to be conferences for programmers and people that were interested in statistical programming in the US. So we got talking about it. Long story short, we managed to kick off our own conference, PhUSE. So we started that in 2004 in Heidelberg, was the first conference, and we had something like 240 delegates came to that Heidelberg conference, and we're hoping in the Edinburgh conference this year we will have somewhere in the region of 700 attending the conference. So that's the sort of history of where it is.
Does PhUSE stand for? Because it might seem like quite a random thing if you've not heard of it before.
Yeah. So it was the marketing group at SAS that helped us come up with a name. So they worked very hard. They must have had people sticking post-it notes on a board for a long time.
Yeah.
And we had talked about the sorts of things we wanted to do. And at the time, there were SAS user groups called SUGs. I think they still exist, actually. I know, horrible, isn't it? So the pharmaceutical SAS user groups were called PharmaSUGs.
Okay.
It's getting worse. And when Stephen first started thinking about this idea, he was going to start either EU PharmaSug or PharmaSug EU, which is acronym-tastic, isn't it? Oh, it's gone bonkers with that. So we needed something else, and so they asked us what sort of things we would. So it needed to have pharma in it. Biotechs existed, but pharma seemed to encompass all of them.
Yeah.
And so that's the PH is pharma, pharmaceutical, and then it's users, because we're trying to torture the acronym to work, comes next. So we're all software users. So it's pharmaceutical users software. And then what we wanted to do was encourage people to exchange ideas and information and network and those sorts of things, so E is exchange. I don't think anybody knows or remembers that now, pharmaceutical users software exchange, they just know it as PhUSE, but that was the origins of it. And actually those items, those desires and vision for it is still in the DNA of PhUSE now.
So that's going to encompass quite a lot of different roles across the pharmaceutical industry, so programmers, statisticians, data analysis.
It is indeed.
Anything else?
The ambition was to do that, but remember we started with PharmaSug, EU PharmaSug, which was SAS users, so there's a high preponderance of SAS users in there. But over the years we've diversified, and even the very first one we had, so at the very first conference we had a data management stream and a stat stream, so we identified those two streams as separate streams. There's Coders Corner and various other things that are in there that do different things, but we also had a CDISC stream. I know that because I chaired that at the first conference. The CDISC stream is another acronym. It's about standards and data and how you manage data. So there's more than just programming, but it would be wrong to say there aren't a lot of SAS programmers. Out of the 700 in Edinburgh, there'll be a lot of people that spend a large portion of their day programming SAS.
And so in terms of the University Day stream, how exactly did that come about as part of the conference?
Yeah, so as I was saying before, I was running the CDISC stream at the very first conference, and then got involved in running other streams, and latterly that was the management stream. And I ran the management stream with Beata for a couple of years, and wanted to try something different. So I wanted to it's good to get new blood in and to take these things over. So I decided to move away and think about what else I could do to contribute to PhUSE. And one of the things I had always felt very passionate about was letting people who aren't in the industry know what the opportunities are, because I feel I came into this industry by accident and stumbled into it and thought, wow, this is fantastic. So we've tried several times over the years to get a university day working, and I thought, well, look, if I put my mind to this, we must be able to get this to work. So it came about as an idea, and I went back to Stephen Bamford and the board of directors and made a proposal for us doing this year. They were very supportive, and obviously Jules, who's the conference chair, was keen to have it as part of his conference, and so that was the beginning of it.
So for those of us who might not have heard of anything like this before, what exactly is a university day, and can you give us a sneak peek into what might be happening during the day?
Yeah, sure. So I think it might be better to describe what it's not, because we've got an ethos.
Yep.
And what we determined right at the very beginning was we didn't want it to be death by PowerPoint. So we had this idea that we wanted to engage people in a two-way discussion, engage students in a two-way discussion about the industry. So it's then gone a little bit more structured than that, so we've broken it down into 3 components. And the first component is to give a view of the types of companies, the types of job roles that you've got, the locations that they could be, and the differences between them. So when you look at a company or a job advert, you're going to get an idea about what that really means, because every company has a whole diverse range of ways of saying the same thing. And then the other thing we wanted to look at was to show some technologies that are being used at the moment in a real environment, to give students a chance to experience doing the job. And there's quite a very creative way of doing that, where we hope, if it works correctly, people will be playing a game to try and compete to achieve something for an award with some other people that have come to the conference with them. And then the final piece is to network. So networking is an important aspect in what we do, not just finding a career for yourself, but it's also finding people that you want to hire when you get more senior. That's happening at the conference as well. But it's also finding out who's interested in the same things that you're interested in, because you end up then collaborating with them on projects outside of your day job, but actually contributing to the profession in general. So that networking aspect is there, and using a buzzword at the moment, we're gamifying that as well. So the whole thing is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be engaging. That is an overview, really, of what the University Day is.
Yeah, it sounds really good, and it's obviously going to be a really great opportunity for us to get in and meet, professionals that could be potential employers, to get hands-on with techniques that we might not have seen before or might not have much experience with, and really understand what a career in this kind of area really could mean. So with that in mind, we're going to be working with professionals within the industry. Have you got any top tips for us as students to make the most out of our day at PhUSE?
Yes, that's a good question. Have I got any top tips? I think PhUSE, I would say that you need to have fun. So be yourself, be natural. People will detect if you're not being natural, so be yourself, who you are naturally. And be open to absorbing as much as you can, taking in what you've got, but also connecting with people. So a lot of people at the conference will have been there before, but there'll be some people who have never been there before. So there'll be some people with 25 years experience, 30 years experience there, hello. There'll be some people with 1 year experience there, and they will be not that much further on than the new people that are coming. So I would say take that opportunity to speak to people, get their contacts, talk to them, and to build that network. That's probably the most important thing. Don't worry too much about getting your CV right or being on interview mode or anything. Don't worry too much about that. Actually, it's very relaxed at the conference. A lot of people wear jeans and t-shirts. Not many people, the salespeople wear suits. Some of the managers wear suits, some of them don't. But the salespeople are more relaxed. So be relaxed and be yourself. It's not an interview. It's really time for you to come and just have a look and experience what the industry does.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
So hopefully, if you're already registered for the conference, this has given you a good idea of what you can expect from coming to it. If you're not already registered and you've seen this because somebody shared it on Facebook or you've come across it on YouTube, then you can still register for the conference, and in true BBC News style, the details should be on your screen now. Not only did I get a chance to speak to James when I was in Cambridge, but James kindly went and spoke to Jules, the overall conference chair, for me. And he had a few things to say about what the University Day means to PhUSE and to him. So I'll leave you with what Jules had to say to end this video, but stay tuned over the coming weeks for more information on the conference and the University Day itself.
So, right, I'm here at the paper review meeting with Jules van der Zalm, the you're going to correct that for me now, aren't you?
Jules van der Zalm.
Thank you very much.
It's Dutch.
Who is the conference chair for the Edinburgh conference this year. So, Jules, as you know, we're doing this short interview to give a bit of an overview of what's happening and to also introduce the idea of a conference to the students that might be attending. So, just tell me a little bit about a paper review meeting. What is a paper review meeting?
Sure. When we organise PhUSE, there's a number of volunteers who submit their ideas, their abstracts to the conference. We have a team of more than 30 people to select the best quality content out of these submissions, and that determines which presentations that we'll have at the annual conference in Edinburgh.
Excellent. So we've got about 30 people, but we're here in Amgen in Uxbridge in the UK, but we've got people from all over the world or all over Europe? Or?
All over the world. Well, in here today is mainly Europe, because people don't necessarily fly in from where they're at in Asia or the US. But we have American and Indian people in the organization, so we're pretty global now.
So the University Day is one aspect on the third day and final day of the conference. Why is it added into the conference, and what does it mean to you and to the conference in general?
Well, personally, I think it's very important to engage students. So, well, it was you who pitched the idea when we were in Barcelona last year, and I liked it from the start. So I'm very happy to see it happening. And I think it's important to engage graduate students as soon as we can to make sure that they can make the right choices, they can understand the industry better, so they can make the right choices when they move further into their careers.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay.